Alright, this is a trend review on the Dow lower time frame, higher time frame. But look, the higher time frame is actually on the bottom. I do that so I'm focused on the higher time frame, and lower time frame is on the top. So let's see what's going on. So over here, right at this circle area, is where we had selling pressure. Selling pressure came in and it pulled back. This was the turning point. What was the evidence for this turning point? Like, here's the thing. Like, at these turning points, you know that supply is going to overwhelm demand, right? So that's why it's going to go down. And at this point, demand has to overcome supply. So you need to see evidence of that as it is occurring in order to get in on it. So I saw that evidence when it was rallying over here at this top. Uh, where was it? Somewhere around here. It was at 16,000 sell, which is the biggest selling wave in all of the waves other than this one, which is 17,000. Which, obviously, like, it was a shallow pullback, so it gave rise to the possibility that this was F a reward. And this also, I had no idea, but I was ready for this because I was looking at the higher time frame and seeing it was overextended. And what really helped me was the point figure with volume to be able to see the establishment of resistance. If I can find it now, right there. There's 17,000 contracts traded there. So that helped. And the other thing that helped was a pullback or the breakout up thrust here. Over here is only 3,000. 16 down, 3,000 up. Again, 16 down, 3,000 up. Now, other people look at this and say it's 17,000, 4,000 up. That's fine. But I guess it's more of an intuitive thing where I'm expecting like a low volume pullback here, which is really what Wyckoff SMI, they call that LPSY. Wyckoff, I forgot what he called it in his wave chart study. I think he said um, there's the three things he looked for in his study. And this is based off of his wave chart study, which is in the course. So go read the fucking course. Which is one, exhaustion. That's what he called it, exhaustion, which is your similar to that buying climax, the same thing. Two, weakness. Where is my arrow? Okay, whatever. This is the arrow. So he wanted to see the selling waves get stronger. When he did it, it was in terms of time and distance, but it can also be done in terms of volume. It just can. If you experiment enough, you'll see that that's the case. And then, like, on the attempt from demand, it goes from 25,000, and after the weakness, you want to see what the value is, and it's only 3,000. So now, what about here? Well, here the way the rally just started, and this is one of the reasons why it's kind of difficult to just take numbers and be like, okay, let's just create a signal. Over here, you had a downtrend, and this is the rally. So this was F a reward. But after it's going on for a while, and then you get that's a different story. Position on the trend, whether it's near the low or the high, makes the difference. Big rallies at the bottom of a trend, big green rallies at the bottom of a trend is a sign of strength. But a big green rally at the top of a trend is a climax. The behavior will look almost exactly the same or very similar. There'll be a big green rally, but from a bottom of a trend, it could be very bullish because it's a sign of strength. it is smart hands buying lows. But at the top of the trend, those same big green bars and all green bars are totally different. It's bearish and it can end a trend. Now, how do you figure that? The same behavior means two different things. Get it? The same price volume behavior means two different things depending on the position, depending on where the behavior occurred. But in terms of price, volume, time, activity, it'll be identical. So over here, for example, the 35,000 that's coming up is an impulse thing saying it's going to go higher. But over here, the 25,000 is a climax saying, I'm not going higher. So you get it? You get what I mean? So this is also very important. Like 25,000 here, market going lower, right? Bang. So now, so that's the whole point. Down, then 35,000 comes up. I'll go through some of that later, but the point really is a very critical point. Your sign of strength many times will look just like a climax, and your climax will look like a sign of strength in terms of price volume behavior, but they mean two opposite things. They mean totally opposite. They look exactly the same in terms of strength. It'd be like, okay, big wave, a lot of distance, good volume, but they mean two different things. So that's why position of the trend is important. So that's the first lesson. And now I'm trying to figure out what's going on over here. Because you see the bottom chart, this looks bullish, right? But you understand, wave volume is subject to the deviation amount, to the retracement amount. Okay? And I'm going to prove that very simply. This looks bullish, right? Rally, pullback. But if I change the retracement amount from 100 ticks to 50 ticks, this is a higher time frame, that's why they're large. If I change the retracement amount, oh, look at that. Ain't that funny? All of a sudden now, this looks like a sign of weakness. See that? All I had to do was change the retracement amount. And it looks like the trend changed. It looks like a low volume pullback. Looks like a bear flag. So you must have an understanding of your tools and how they function and their intricacies and nuances. The thing with wave volume is that it can, depending on the retracement amount, give you different data. Totally different. Right? See over here, bearish. Change it. Bullish. See? So keep that in mind. And if you're using those values in programming, you really need to keep that in mind. That's why judgment is important. So that's a major point. Like over here, right, I'll just again half it. Now you can see the rally, you can see the pullbacks, you can see the trend change, you can see the turning points. But if I increase the numbers, you're not going to see any of that. You can see the consolidations. So the point here is, you have to know what retracements or deviation value to use, and what is the significance of that. Okay, like if the retracement value is too small, it is horrible because you're just gonna see a lot of consolidations. Like, oh yeah, grind, gang, 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 right? All of this right here. If it's too large, you're not gonna see the heavy volume here because it's too large. So if you go back down to 50, now you're able to see it, right? So it's like this is the issue with wave volume is if you want to be able to see a clear picture, you have to use a high deviation. If you want to see higher highs and higher lows, if you want to see that trend feel, that bull flag followed by another bull flag, followed by another bull wedge, followed by another bull flag, that kind of picture, you have to use a higher deviation, a higher retracement. But if you use a higher retracement, it's going to filter out a lot of data. Okay? So that's the second point. Third point is if you are using tick charts, if you're using tick based charts and you reload the data, the bars will look different. Alright? This is, in my opinion, this happens if you're using um, a software company that's different from the data provider. So let's say you're using a software, I don't know, whichever software you're using, but your data provider is different than your software provider. In that case, when you reload the data, tick data will not look the same. The bars will look different to the point where green bars may look like red bars and red bars may look like green bars. However, if your data provider is the same as your broker, most of the time when you reload the data, there's not a big deal because I think they house the data locally. They get the data and then they house it, so their data looks very consistent. So there's a lot of little nuances, and all I can tell you is, you have to make sure that the data is accurate, and that's not an easy thing to do because it matters on, whether you reload tick data, you're using tick data, time-based data, so there's a lot of stuff involved. So those are three things, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.